This is our this call meeting agenda Monday, August 29th at 4:30 p.m. We don't need a roll call, done had one, please leave it. I'm gonna ask Mr. Nelson, because he wants to come up and explain the election. Come on up, Carlos.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Do want to give an update on the upcoming election. I know November 8th is the general election for across the nation, actually, and in Georgia. So I just wanted to make sure that people put on the calendar that we started last Monday on the 22nd of August, accepting applications for absentee ballots. And so anyone who wants to vote by absentee, there's no excuse. Just fill out your application, and we will start sending out ballots October the 17th. And that's our first day. Legally, we can start sending out ballots, and you have until the night of the election to get it back into the office. So we want to make sure that if you're going to do absentee ballots, start requesting. You can call the office. We'll send you an application, or you can email the application to us and all that good stuff. October 17th through the November 4th is early voting, Monday through Friday from 7:30 to 5:30. We will have two sites. We're going to have the election office on Tebow Street, and then the second site will be downstairs in the administration building. So we're going to have two sites Monday through Friday, and then on Saturday, October the 22nd, and the October the 29th Saturday, we will have early voting 9 to 5 for Saturday voting, and that'll be at the main office on Tebow Street only. So we're trying to get everyone to vote early, absentee ballots, because the election day is going to be busy.
So the early voting will only be in those two places?
Correct.
It won't be at all the polls for early voting?
No, yeah, you're correct.
In the 2020, it helped tremendously to have the other site here.
Yeah,
I believe, because
correct.
it helped alleviate the burden and keep from having long lines.
Yeah, because at our main office, we received in 2020, we had about 8,000 early votes, almost 9,000. We had about 4,000 downstairs. So total, we had a little over 12,000 early votes, which was
You had 12,000 early voters the last time?
Yes.
How many people voted in the whole election?
I think we had about another 3,000 or so on election day, but the majority of the voters came out early voting. I mean, we had a tremendous turnout, and we still had lines. But I would rather have a line for early voting, versus a line for election day, because you never know weather-wise. We don't want that day to be raining and people discouraged from voting.
7 o'clock on election day.
Election day,
comes
7 a.m.
quick.
to 7 p.m.
Yeah.
And we'll be, we'll be ready to accept your vote. But we want the public to be aware that we're here for them. We have great staff. It's a small staff, but we bring in our poll workers to help do early voting. We have a great board. The board has given us the authority to have extended hours, like I say, from 7:30 to 5:30 for early voting, which is great. We have the two Saturdays. So we're doing everything we can to make sure people in Ware County have an opportunity to come out and vote, especially vote early. And absentee ballots also is a good opportunity if you have an elderly person, great opportunity if they can't get out, or if you're just not sure if you'll be in town that day, just let us know. You can request a ballot. If you decide not to vote that ballot, turn it back in, and you can still vote early or vote election day. So just because you request an absentee ballot, that doesn't tie your hands that you have to vote it. You may want to still vote in person, then in that case, just turn your absentee ballot back in. We'll spoil it, and then you can vote in person. Yeah.
So you turn it, you come to get an absentee ballot, and then drop it in your office, at your office, and then they'll have a record that ballot has already been turned in?
Yes, sir, that's the way it works. Once you do your application, we double check. We have to check your identity information, your driver's license, social security, signature, and all that. And once we do that, we go in the system. We identify you, like Commissioner Pope. On this day, you request an absentee ballot. Once we send out the absentee ballot, it is associated with you, not the ballot itself, but the envelope,
Right.
is what we track. Okay, so whenever you get it, and you return it back in, we double check and make sure that, it's signed and legal. And then we scan it into the office, and then once we scan it, that locks you out from voting for that election. So even if you show up, on election day, it will identify you as already voted. And it locks out. So even if you forget and you show up, or you send in a second request for an absentee ballot. Once we go into the system, it say, no, you've already been sent a ballot. Now, if you call and say my dog ate it or whatever like that, we'll spoil that ballot. Okay? That way, if that ballot happens to come in, then that ballot's not legal. It's just second ballot that's legal. So there's no opportunity to have a double vote or anything like that, because we have a staff that really pays attention to what they're doing. And so we're on top of it. Once we get ballots in, we scan them right then and there. And also, the state has a website called MVP, which is called My Voters Page. And from there, you can check your registration status. You can check your location, where your polling place is. Also, there's a portal on there that you can put in your cell phone to get a text message. So if you do an absentee ballot, you get a text message that your absentee ballot was mailed out on October 17th. To be expected, okay? To be expected in the mail. Once you return it and we scan it back in, within the next day, you're gonna get another text message that says your ballot has been received in the office and has been accepted.
Very
So
good.
you'll know that it's in the office and we have it, we secure it, and we'll keep it there until election night.
Good.
So that's something that the Secretary of State's office started a few years ago, and I think that's a good benefit to the voting.
One other question, and I'll be quiet. At one time, like when I was in the Navy, get an absentee ballot, you had to specify, there was just a short list of reasons you could get an absentee ballot. Is that the case now? Do you have to tell why you need it, or just walk in and get one, or request it?
Well, in Georgia, you have to request it, but there's
Right.
no excuse.
You don't have to have
You don't
a
have
reason
have
to get
You
it.
have to have a reason, you just request it. If you are disabled or over 65, you can request to receive a ballot, if you like, to receive a ballot that whole election year. So a lot of people at the beginning of the year, the first election of the year, they check on that they want to get a ballot. So they automatically get a ballot for this election. If there's runoff, they'll have,
Okay.
even if they don't want to vote it, they can call and say, I don't want, I changed my mind, I'd rather vote in person. We'll go in and cancel that request, and so it doesn't tie you into voting that ballot if you don't want to, but it's always a good thing. If you're not sure you're gonna be in town, I suggest you go ahead and request an absentee ballot. That way at least your vote's there in hand.
Good. Thank you.
Have you got enough people to handle all of these polls? I know at one time you was struggling to find enough poll workers.
We are still short. We have enough, if everyone is like in a workforce, if everyone shows up, we're fine. The issue is not everybody, from year to year or from election to election, they may not be available. And so that's why our numbers really fluctuate. So we're actually operating a little over 30 short from where we need to be, not where we have to be. Now we have enough to run the election, by law. And I don't feel like, that really jeopardizes any services that we provide to the public. Our problem is that on election day or the day before, we get that phone call from a manager that says, hey, I'm sick, I won't be able to work that tomorrow. So then we got to do some moving around, because we can't move anybody into a manager's position. We have to make sure that that person's been assistant manager that knows how to do the paperwork and do everything right. And so we have to do a lot of moving like that. We don't have that type of luxury, like I said, we don't have that kind of bullpen to pull from when we need help. We have to really pray that Ms. Ruth McCoy handles our poll workers, and she'll tell them right on, please don't call me that Friday before the election and tell me you can't work, because it's tough. It's really tough. But we have enough to do what we need to do right now if we don't have no unforeseen, short, people calling out on that day.
Good.
But we'd like to have some reserve, yes.
I got one other thing. Scott sent us an email out a while back about some of your poll workers. If they was in town, people would come up to them, especially if they know they was a poll worker, made them mean accusations about, hey, y'all stole my election, y'all stole my vote, what y'all do with my vote, stuff like that. I just want to let the general public know that I think Ware County's got one of the most best voting offices they are around. Unless you got some kind of direct path, leave the people alone, let them do their job.
And I agree, it's not really bad. I mean, that article was, it's amazing they asked a question about 2020.
Right.
What happened after the election. And that's what I made it sound like it's currently going on now. We have some great people now. We have had comments. There haven't been accusations about this poll worker stealing votes. They'll make comments when people are tired and they come in and they say, I hope y'all steal my vote this time. I'm tired of, so and so.
Yeah.
Little comments like that. You get some people that just like, hey, I've been out here for all these hours. I'm tired. I don't feel like that kind of stuff. And it's a little small comment, but it's not, that thing is not really, it's the factor that's causing the shortages. Everybody I think having a shortage in manpower. The pay for a poll worker is about $130, give or take, for a day. That's like 13 and a half, 14 hours. That's a lot of hours. So you're not doing it for the money, you're doing it because you want to serve. And we get more people that want to serve and do it for the right reasons. We're not worrying about all the other stuff. That it? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you,
thank you,
sir.
Carlos. Any more comments on that?
I think Mr. Carlos is doing a mighty fine job down there.
Thank you.
We need a approval of the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the agenda set forth in front of us.
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second. Let's do a vote on it. Mr. Burris? Is he on it?
He's on my hearing.
He's probably talking with the doctor.
Yeah, I think that's what he's doing, yeah.
Did he hear us? Mr. Burris? Mr. Pope? Did he vote?
Okay.
Did he vote? Mr. Burris, we voting to approve the agenda. We've had a motion and a second. We're asking for the votes. Mr. Burris? Yeah, he must not hear.
I think he
Vote.
can't hear.
Mr. Lucas? Barner?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay. Let's go on to the A resolution for the 2022-12 approve Ware County Board of Education millage rate. But we're going, their millage rate was 16,292, and the rate they wrote it back to is 15.022. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I hear a motion on that.
I'll make a motion, we accept the millage rate rollback from the Board of Education.
Okay.
Second.
Second. Any discussion on it? Let's vote on it. Mr. Burris? Mr. Pope? Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Barner?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay. On the resolution for the 2022-13 adoption of the 23 millage rate. And that one changed from, let me find it.
I think it was 15.073, all right?
Yeah, it went from, went to 13, yeah, from 15.073 to 13.852 was a 1.221 rollback. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I hear a motion to accept that. Got a motion?
Mr. Burris, he made a motion.
You get a
I
second?
second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Thank you, Mr. Burr. Okay. Let's vote on it. Mr. Burris? Aye. Mr. Pope? Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Barnard?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay. Now, bid award for Tanner Lane Wind Clay Drive Extension Project.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to accept the bid that has been set forth and
Okay. It was underground excavating for $3,531,022. And, you have a motion. You have a second.
Now, is this TR Long Engineering, is that the ones?
he's the
This is
engineer.
the Wind Clay Drive, the bridge.
Underground is the one that bidded on it.
We got a motion.
You got a motion?
I made the motion, we need a
We
second.
need a second.
Second.
Second, okay, got a second. Now, is there any discussion on it?
It's time to do it.
My question is the very last sentence in the second paragraph. It says plus a 10% contingency. So are we allowing them 10% fluctuation in the price?
No, that's for our accounting purposes, just in-house, that's not gonna be in the contract. One thing, though, the base bid that the chairman called out includes the GAB option. And, soil cement was the recommendation I made on the agenda item, and that's to save $100,000 with the amount being 3.4 million. So that might be something if you want to, go with that option, then the contract amount would go from 3.5 to 3.4.
So the best way to do it is to approve the contract for the full amount and authorize a change order to use the optional item.
Okay.
I was just wanting to make sure that we wasn't gonna give them a 10% fluctuation in the price.
No.
Okay.
I got,
Deduct 10%, I don't think.
I got a question, Mr. Long. Once everything is, approved, when do you think construction time is gonna start on this thing now?
I'll have to ask, let me start over. What I have to do is give it here a second, to kind of see what the schedule is. I know we have some long lead time things on some of the, stone and some of the materials on the bridge. I don't know how long the long leads are right now, so you kind of got to see. Because it really depends on how quickly they get aggregate in some cases, so.
But we
Field
get
places
this,
are having trouble getting aggregate.
right, can we put this kind of like a number one priority?
Oh, yes, sir.
Because I wanna get this thing done at least before election time comes around next year.
Is the dirt close by? Has any of that been
I'm not
looked
sure.
into?
Yes, sir. He's got somebody that's interested in getting a fish pond out of the deal. He's already contacted us.
You already contacted somebody to,
Yeah,
where the dirt's gonna come from?
thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All righty.
So we've got a
I
motion.
hear a motion that we accept the bid then.
He seconded it.
And he seconded, got one.
We got it.
All right. Let's vote on it. Mr. Burris? Aye. Mr. Pope? Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Barner?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay. Now, we need the, D, South Georgia Regional Technical Assistance Contract and Requisition for Grant Application Services. We, I hear a motion on that one.
Chairman, I move to approve the, Southern Regional Technical Assistant Contract as presented by Mr. Moore, and also we approve the 2 grant programs that we asked them to apply for as presented by, Mr. Moore.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Can we do that under all 3 of them, or do we can just,
As long as we're all in favor of it, if any commissioner would desire to pull one off and vote it separately, we can, but as long as everybody's in favor of it, that's fine.
we can do them all 3 together?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
We've got a motion for all 3 of them. Do we have a
I'll
second?
second.
We got
I'll
a second. Okay. Let's vote on it. Or is there any discussion on it? Anybody got anything they want to say on it? All right. Mr. Burst? Aye. Mr. Pope?
Aye.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Barner?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay. Anything from the commission or the chairman, the manager? You have any,
I don't.
y'all got anything?
I don't.
I got,
You got something?
go ahead and present
Okay,
this.
we can,
I got Gene to go ahead and print us out a map of the area we're talking about from Walnut to Cherokee,
yeah,
right there, right there.
okay.
Let's look at Walnut right there. Right there, tie into. And I'd like to see some of that L-League money to go for that.
Now,
We could get this here done probably before that road was ever, before the Kettle Creek crossing is finished. And I'll be done about the same time.
So what are we doing?
There's no houses or anything.
right there on that.
Right there on Walnut, there's no houses, no nothing there.
Or Walnut right here.
You're gonna extend Walnut on
Yeah, bring
to
Walnut on down to
Cherokee? Is that what you're
Building
building?
the road?
Yes, sir.
Right
Take
there.
Walnut down from
They tie in
Waycona all the way to
road
Cherokee.
Process.
And see, then that'll give you a, see, right now,
Brandon, can we do that?
Sir?
that'd be the best one.
So there's
Bring Walnut all the way through?
Is that the best one, you think, Mr. Wallace? See, 'cause that's the only, you got ABC here.
I'm assuming you're trying to get.
Okay, if you go, there's traffic through here, I see what y'all saying, you
Yeah.
can't get it over here.
Right. The only way, you got Dorothy and you got ABC, so there's nothing between Dorothy and ABC that connects these 2 roads. So that would be,
So have to come all the way back to here.
yeah, that's Dorothy. And that's where the elementary school is.
Yeah.
And then ABC, where the railroad is.
I wish we could do that before we ever did that, should have been put in the deal that.
Yeah, I mean, we could,
I mean, why didn't it look at that?
Well,
gotta
it's
give some
been
relief.
talked about for about 2 years, looking at a way to alleviate some of the traffic off of ABC Avenue and Dorothy.
I mean, I'm telling you, those roads get backed up bad and
How long is that across there?
You're not
I
talking
mean,
probably,
what is that? 300 feet, 500 feet?
no,
Brandon, Mr. Wallace,
probably about 600 foot, I imagine.
Mr. Wallace,
We'd have to, go back and get a measurement on that for you.
okay.
I don't know how wide that property is right there.
Well, what I like about it is there's no houses there, there's no stores there, there's nothing to infringe upon completing the road.
But I would just like to see our county engineering staff to kind of look at that situation, see what we can come up with.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
Okay. Yeah, I can see where you're gonna need one across there, you don't, gotta go all the way back to Dorothy to get across, get into town.
It looks like it's if my legend's right, it looks like it's about 1,200 feet
1,200 feet across there?
roughly,
Yeah, it'd be
From the
six
end of
building lots on each
Walnut
side of the
down
road.
to
to
Cherokee.
Dorothy?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. From the end of Walnut to Cherokee.
Pretty good, pretty wide piece of property right there.
We got Have you opened it up for us to have any more?
I'm sorry?
Have we, the chairman, Mr. Chairman? Have you opened it up for commissioners to have anything else to say?
Yeah, that's what we're doing now.
Okay, yeah, I got a
You can
couple
do-
more
make a
things.
comment, whatever you want.
Yeah,
That's all I got.
Okay.
I had somebody call me about a good friend of the family, Miss Susan Lanier, 2606 Gilmore, way out in county. Her ditches hold water to the point to where they can't even get down in there, and the ditch is actually lower than the culvert. And the water stays in the ditch, and they can't even mow the ditch, weed eat the ditch, do anything, because when they go out there and they dig them out,
Gilmore,
on Gilmore, 2606 is her property.
that's
And
on
actually,
Jerry's, ain't it?
when she's in the
That's your
bottom,
district.
2606 Gilmore, it's Susan Lanier.
Yeah.
Depends on what they want.
Well, she was complaining when she's in her ditch,
No,
when
I
she
ain't
tries to
gonna-
mow the ditch,
That's Steve just,
see?
Man,
But the ditch is actually lower than the culvert.
Yeah.
But when they dug the ditches out, it's lower than the culvert, and the water won't leave because there's nowhere for it to run.
I got the same problem in front of my house and my ditches too.
She wanted me to bring that up, I promised her I would. Coastal,
that's part of the stormwater retention program.
Yeah.
That's what those ditches are for.
also I went and met, me and the chairman went the day or two before I did. I went out to Coastal Forklift, met with the owner there, Mr. Michael Musgrove, and he has a bad situation. He sent me several photos, and he's just asking for the county's help, because when we put the road in there, when they put that subdivision down there going towards the old Ware County High School, which is now Ware County Middle School, you can tell the road was built up higher than all the land that was around it. And the water's going back. If we have hard enough rain, same thing happens to him that happens to Mr. Wade, Jeff Wade, up here at Waycross Heating and Cooling. Water actually goes in the building. I mean, I know Jeff told me a month ago that he just lost like 6 computers because of that big rainstorm we had.
He got him sitting on the floor.
Brandon, you went and looked at that thing at the Coastal Forklift,
Coastal
didn't you?
Forklift.
Yes, sir.
What do you suggest we do on that?
It looked to me like he could, pave across that driveway and put a swell across there. Probably have enough fall from one side or the other, allow that water that gets in there where he keeps it beat out so bad in there, Chairman, in the driveway there.
Yeah.
Get it going towards the drainage. Now, he's also got a driveway going up to the office that looks like it would keep that drainage from going across there. He probably needs to put a pipe down under that driveway, and then he can get that water to go on towards Albany Avenue. We don't do concrete driveways for businesses, but that would be my recommendation for him. Would be something that he would probably help him out tremendously.
I think probably it would be a good idea to put a storm drain, about a 18-inch pipe up right behind the curb and put 2 boxes. That takes care of it, you know.
Yes, sir.
But I don't know if we could do that.
I do know the drive is beat out pretty bad. I rode by there yesterday to
Yeah.
look at it. With that water, I mean, it was a puddle, it was
I think
huge,
Well,
about
he-
the size of a swimming pool.
Yeah, he told me when I met with him Thursday of last week, and then I spoke with him again this afternoon on the phone. Just since the beginning of this year, he has had 3-4 loads of dirt hauled in, and the dirt just keeps, I mean, it's not doing any good.
He needs to pave that driveway.
Yeah, because it's washing away.
Something needs to be done on it, cause I feel like that they should have put driveways in them 2 spots, but they didn't on the turn. I don't know why. He says the road was built before the building or after?
the road was there before the building was put in there. They just didn't build the building up high enough whenever they built it.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's kind of like a little bit of a flat area.
Yeah.
It is.
Between the
Yeah.
building, if the building was raised up a foot or so, probably would have had a lot better positive drainage to keep it from going that way. And, I didn't know, I mean, I think he's turning the downspouts onto that same concrete, but then the concrete runs out before it gets to the road.
Right.
And that dirt area with those forklifts and stuff going across there, it keeps that beat out. And then when you have a hole, of course, that's where the water's gonna go and, take it a lot longer to dry out than everywhere else, just because they keep it beat out.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't tie that driveway all the way into the back of the curb. I mean, I guess they went to the right of way. That must be the county right of way right there where they stopped them. They're paving.
All right, and I got
Okay.
got one more thing. Miss Denise Lee, the owner of Lee Hardware, we all know her, she's a great woman. She approached me because she is now the director of Southern Forest World, and she has asked, for our assistance for Southern Forest World.
To do what?
Every new director asks for that.
Sir?
Every new director wants that.
Well, she said she had actually looked it up and that we actually used to help. And for some reason, about 8 years ago, we quit helping them. But they have nothing to do with the other two locations on that same plot of property. They're completely different. They're completely separate. And everybody gets her and Miss Eddings mixed up, you know, with the businesses. But those are two different entities, two separate entities, totally different situation. And I think it being, you know, what it is, Southern Forest World, I mean, there's a lot of heritage there. There's a lot of where Ware County started, where county's come from, where county is now. You know, to me, it'd just be beneficial.
Well, they won't.
They just want some of our assistance, some of our financial assistance, some help, like they used to get.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
should I speak to that?
Sure.
Yes, sir. Come on.
Come up and identify yourself.
I wear many hats, so I'm taking off my newspaper hat, putting on my Southern Forest World hat. I'm also on the board of trustees there. Been on it for about 2 months now. I didn't know what dire straits they were in. When Southern Forest World was founded, Sue Clark was the founding person. She's the one that put all that together. And the governor, per her request, put $50,000 into the state budget to help with the operation of Southern Forest World. And that money was to come from the Georgia Forestry Commission's budget. So over the years, and I'm not up to date on the pure history timeline on this, but over time, those budgets kept getting smaller and smaller until, did you say, she said 8 or 9 years ago,
All of it
help
pretty much
ceased.
less, yes.
Well, in the last week or so, the director, now, Ms. Denise is the treasurer of the Board of Trustees.
Okay.
The director out there is Bertha Dixon. And she found a letter from Miss Sue to the lieutenant governor at the time. Now, Ms. Denise and I have been contacting our legislators and everything, and Representative John Corbett is on this. He's going back trying to find the paper trail, get all this going again. And really, I think the county commission, and I could be wrong, Ms. Herzog, the county commission was throwing in money of their own goodwill. You know, they weren't required to do any of that. And, but we are in the process of trying to figure out how to get the funding that comes to us back to us. So that's about where we stand. If you guys want to do something, I mean, we'll be happy to take your money.
How many members do they have?
Members as far as what?
The Forest World. Didn't they used to have a
Yes,
membership?
they still have family memberships, single memberships, the total numbers, I don't know off the top of my head. But there are some memberships, but they're not enough to carry on the daily operations of Southern Forest World. And they kind of changed, you know, at one time it was known as a museum.
Right.
You know, that word kind of turns kids off, so we're going more into environmental and forestry education, trying to get kids out there and keep, you know, y'all know how important forestry is to Ware County.
Right.
So we're trying to keep that alive. We were also working on getting donations from the forest companies around, and we're getting pretty good positive feedback. But one of them says, listen, we don't want our money to go to pay salaries or the electric bill. We want it to go to education. So, you know, we got to be careful about doing that too. So So that's where we are as of this moment. Barry Dees is the president of the Board of Trustees, and he's been there since the very beginning. As a matter of fact, I was at the Board of Education meeting earlier today, and he and I talked more about that we've got to sit down and get us a plan to get this thing back where it's supposed to be. Because it fell on hard times, and it really needs to be brought back up to snuff.
Okay,
Thank you, Mr. Barber.
thank you.
Appreciate it. And that's all I got tonight, fellas.
Anybody else got anything?
I'm good.
No. We'll look into that, I guess, think about it.
Thank you, sir.
Good thing to think about, Tim. Okay. I hear a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Second.
Got a second? Yeah. All right. I heard a motion to adjourn and a second. All in favor? Meeting adjourned.
Mr. Burris, glad to have